I should narrate how my first giri pradakshina took place. I was not accustomed to walking at all, but whenever people came to tell Bhagavan that they were going on a giri pradakshina, I longed to go too. One day, Venkatramaya and others were going round the hill, and in this group there were two devotees who were over 80 years old. I did not say anything to Bhagavan, but was all the time praying that I should be included in that party. Immediately, Bhagavan said to Venkatramaya, "Take this girl, the one seated there, with you." Bhagavan didn't stop there, and he said, "She will walk very slowly. Will that be all right?" Then Bhagavan turned towards me and said, "These are our own people, and you are prepared to go with them. Go." The pradakshina took almost 6 hours. At Adi Anamalai, I could move no more. I requested the group to proceed without me and told them I will reach the ashram later. But they said, "How could we leave you when Bhagavan entrusted you to us? Even if it takes you another day to complete the pradakshina, we will stay with you. Only with you can we re-enter the ashram." I was again feeling very guilty when we finally arrived. I was thinking that others take 3 to 4 hours to complete the pradakshina, and I have taken 6, wasting not only my time, but theirs too. I felt that there were all older than me, and I, a younger person, had caused them so much inconvenience. When I entered the ashram, my heart was heavy with this feeling. With great difficulty, we entered into the presence of Bhagavan, and as soon as I sat down, Bhagavan started narrating how the pradakshina should be done by walking as slow as a royal queen in her 9th month of pregnancy. He even said, "So there is nothing wrong in what she did." After this, many times I used to go round the hill all alone. I used to fast a lot in those days, almost 15 days out of a month. It was helping my sadhana. One day, with the permission of Chinnaswami, I stayed in the ashram till 7:30 p.m., which is the supper time. Bhagavan turned to me and said, "Aren't you coming for supper? Sattvic food should be eaten. There is no meaning in mere fasting." Since then, I stopped fasting. Even if I wanted to fast, for some reason or other, it would be broken. That is a real wonder to me. I was not aware of this Brahmin, non-Brahmin separation in the dining hall. One day I entered and saw the screen dividing the seating area, for some people were already seated. I was in a fix as to where I should sit. Bhagavan saw my plight and asked me to sit right next to him. He said to the attendant, "She doesn't know anything, so put her leaf here." Then he turned to me and said, "Don't worry about these Brahmins." That is how Bhagavan in his kindness used to take care of me, for I was all alone and ignorant of the customs and ways of the world. Since Bhagavan was showering all this personal attention on me, Chinnaswami also took a personal interest in my welfare. As Muruganar was away, Chinnaswami offered me his residence to stay in, and also offered to send someone to guard me. I told him that I was not afraid and would lock the house from inside and needed no one to guard me. But Bhagavan overheard this and said, "She is a young girl and does not know the consequences. Let her sleep indoors behind closed doors, but you send a servant to sleep outside on the veranda." I did not know anything when I came here. Even cooking I learned here, and of course, Bhagavan taught me many things from within. Since you used to sit in front of Bhagavan quite often, could you please give a detailed description of what is called Bhagavan's glance of grace? Bhagavan's look was real magic. You could not do anything but just look into his eyes, which would transform you into samadhi. Everyone in the hall used to feel Bhagavan was looking at them alone. This was the true experience of each one of us. In his inimitable way, he was giving the glance of grace to each and everyone seated in the hall. Bhagavan's look used to take us deep into samadhi. Just by looking into his eyes, we came to know what meditation is. This was and is the common experience of all devotees. You ask anyone, and you will get the same reply. Once Bhagavan gave me such a look, and for a very long time I was absorbed in samadhi. Bhagavan was reading the newspaper, letters were being brought in, normal activity was going on, but I was oblivious of the happenings outside of me. In fact, I was unaware of my body. I also once remember a Harijan lady who for the past 25 years was gathering honey to send to Sri Bhagavan. On every occasion, she was unable to bring the honey herself and had to send it with someone. After waiting for 25 years, she finally found the opportunity to come. The poor lady was in tattered clothes, standing before Bhagavan. Her eyesight was poor, and I still vividly recall the unusual way she looked at Sri Bhagavan, calling out, "Oh, darling, where are you? I want to see you." Bhagavan, in his graciousness, said, "Granny, look this way. I am here." Looking at the honey she had brought with her, he said to me, "They are Brahmins. They won't eat this. We will share it and eat it." It is often said Bhagavan did not give direct upadesa, spiritual instruction. But what else is all this? Although Bhagavan repeatedly pointed out human frailty, people were not prepared to rectify themselves. As if talking to himself, he looked at this poor old woman in ragged clothes and said, "Poor lady, she must be hungry. And where will she go for clothes? Who will offer her food and clothes?" Upon hearing this, Ondu Redyar got up and said, "We will give her food and also see that some clothes are purchased." Then Redyar took the woman to the dining hall and fed her sumptuously. He also sent someone to town to buy her a sari. As the old woman had no money, she had walked a great distance to come here. Bhagavan, knowing this, said in an impersonal way, "Would anyone be interested in getting her a bus ticket?" Redyar again came forward and said, "We will provide her with a bus ticket and see her off." When this lady returned from the dining hall, she was touching the ground and then touching her eyes. That is a way of prostration and thanksgiving. It is noteworthy that whenever the poor or untouchables came, Bhagavan took a very personal interest in them, which was a moving sight to see. Sri Bhagavan had absolutely no connection with either body or mind. People used to be confused by seeing him read letters and newspapers. His inner state never changed since he was 16. This was demonstrated repeatedly, but only those who had the eyes to see could see and realize it. Sri Bhagavan was also a real taskmaster. He used to quietly move around various places within the ashram without notice. So every place had to be kept clean and neat, because Bhagavan was very particular about cleanliness. He was also particular about punctuality. This kept every member of the ashram alert and on their toes, ready at all times to do what was necessary. Look how this ashram has grown. Unless Bhagavan was very careful in his silent supervision, could it have grown to this extent?